Okay. Okay. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, everyone. Om Ajnanatimrantasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshunlimitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishnaprishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminidhi Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyati Deshadharini. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay, so let's go to Bhakti Vriksha. Okay, so that is advanced class. Okay, so class we have finished 3 classes, so now this will be the fourth one. Okay, so I forgot to mention something last class. It was on 26th, yeah, Wednesday. So that was the appearance day of Radharaman. Okay, so did anyone go to Vrindavan and see Radharaman in this class? Can you raise your hands?
Aishwarya Mataji, Hare Krishna. Can you
Yes.
reclaim host, please? Because
Oh
chats
yeah.
will come to you.
Okay. Yeah. So did anyone go to Vrindavan and took a darshan of Radharaman? Bhuvana Mataji. Very good. Yes. So cute to see Radharaman, right? Yeah. So this is Radharaman. It's only so much. So much. Okay. I mean, very small deity. So it was his birthday on Wednesday. That means the appearance day. Actually, it's a Swayambhu deity. That means it came from a Shila. You can see Shalagram Shila. You would have heard about a Shila. This is a special Shila. It's not a normal stone. It's like it's Vishnu. So it's very precious and people worship. So what happened? Gopal Bhatta Goswami is one of the Goswamis, 6 Goswamis in Vrindavan. He was the disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Now what happened? Goswami. So one day he went to Gandagi River. You know, it's in Nepal. So yeah, so he went and he was taking bath. So 3 times he dipped and came out. So when he comes out, you take some water and then do something like this. Now in Ganga and all, we do some puja. We take some water from the Ganga and offer back to Ganga. So he was doing that, and when he took like this, there were so many shilas in his hand. Some 12 shilas, small, came, and then three he's like, oh, I'm not eligible to worship them. He put it back again. He did it again. He did 3 4 times. He did the same shilas came in his hand, and he thought, okay, this is Krishna's plan, let me worship the shilas. So he took home, and then he was in Vrindavan. He was worshipping it with tulsi and Yamuna water and all. He used to worship. So Shilas, you can't dress them up. But one day, what happened? A merchant came and gave lot of dresses. Like for the deities, we have small kurtas and ornaments, jewels, and mukut. Everything he gave. And Gopal Bhatt Goswami is like, I have a Shila. I can't dress my. I don't have a deity as such. I don't. I can't dress him up. Then the merchant is like, no, no, you keep it. You keep it. And then Gopal Bhatta Goswami was feeling inside that, oh, I wish I could dress this up to Krishna, or I wish I could keep this mukut and nice jewels for Krishna. He just had a small desire. Oh, I want a deity. He went to Yamuna to take bath, and when he came back, you won't believe what happened. The biggest Shila in the group, there were 12, but one of the bigger, the Damodar Shila, it became a deity. That is, Krishna came from Swayambhu. It's called Swayambhu. You would have heard these stories in so many temples around in the world, that where a stone, I mean a Swayambhu deity, just like that it came, like, so this is Swayambhu. And Krishna came in that cute Radharaman form. This was the form you can see here. Okay, so cute he is. You should go to Vrindavan and see. He's a darling of Vrindavan. He's very small, and he's very cute. And Gopal Bhatt Goswami was like, tears were flowing in his eyes, and he was so happy, and he called everyone there, and he named him as Radha Raman. Okay, Radha Raman. So this is Radha Raman. That was his birthday on Wednesday. He's very cute. You can see him. He's the darling of Vrindavan. He never leaves Vrindavan. When the Mughals attacked Vrindavan, Aurangzeb, he broke different temples in Radha Govinda temple, and all were broken by him. And all the deities were shifted to Jaipur from Vrindavan because they were hiding. But then Radharaman never left Vrindavan because he's so small. They can hide him now inside the home. So they were hiding Radharaman. He never left. It's a very cute temple. You should visit definitely, and it's very nice. There's so many history behind Radharaman temple. Okay, so that was his birthday on Wednesday. Now a quick recap. So we have learned in the second chapter that we are not this body, and we are not made of some chemicals, right? So if no someone not believe on the soul, and if they say we are just chemicals, then how is the feelings and emotions coming from us, right? It cannot be chemicals. We are happy, we are sometimes smiling, sometimes surprised, and sometimes angry. All these emotions are chemicals, can't just make emotions. And if we give some chemicals to a scientist and in the lab, can they make a life? No, the soul should be there, right? So don't you feel that we are more than chemicals which constitute this body? Yes, we are. So, and also we heard about the past life memories of Shanti Devi and our reincarnation. This is one of the example. Like there's so many examples, and the birthmarks in children, right? If a person have died with a gunshot in previous life, he would have that same mark, that child, or in the next body. So, what does that mean? Okay, and sometimes they are able to remember, sometimes they are not. So the reincarnation stories and all are true. Okay, so that's why we definitely have proofs and evidences, and there's near death experience, out of body experience, right? So all these proofs that there is soul. Okay, so we have finished till 20. We need to do some more. Did we do this sloka? No, Mataji.
No, Aishwarya Mataji.
Yeah, we have to
2.22,
do.
2.23.
Yeah, 2.22 and 23. Okay. Vasamsi jeernani yata vihaya navani grinadi naroparani tada sharirani vihai jeernani anyani samyadi navani dehi. Okay, vasamsi jeernani yata vihaya. That means the cloth, as we change clothes now, the clothes get dirty. Morning you wear a cloth, evening you go for work and come back, you take a bath and you change the cloth, right? Does anyone cry, oh, I have to change my cloth, it's got dirty? Does anyone cry for that? No. Same way, Krishna is saying this body itself is like a cloth. Okay, once it is old, then you change. The soul can't stay in that body, it changes as we are changing garments or dress, right? So that's it. But it's very easy to say, but to accept in life, yeah, it's still a little difficult. Yes, Barka, chant the sloka.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Vashamsi jinnani yada vihaya navani grinati naroparani tata sharirani vihaya jinnanya anyani samyadi navani dehi.
Yeah, so what is Krishna saying here is, as a person puts on new garments, giving up old ones, the soul similarly accepts new material body, giving up old ones. Okay, old useless ones. So that's it. That's called death. So in the first chapter, that's why many people ask, what is the use of learning Bhagavad Gita? Why do you say Bhagavad Gita is life manual? What is the importance of learning Bhagavad Gita? Okay, this, if you don't want to be, if you don't take Bhagavad Gita as a devotional book, it's okay. Just don't take it. It is not actually a devotional book. It's for everyone. It's like a manual. That means it's not a religious book as such. Anyone can read, right? Anyone can read. It's not like we have restricted and all. We read Bible, right? We refer to Bibles and we read Quran. All the teachings are kind of same, to love God. So but if you just see, if you're not interested in all that thing, even if you're an atheist, just see this part, right? Krishna is speaking about the soul. And if you know about the soul, then there's no problem in life, because we know, right, the death is also changing the uh, people, all of you, please post the questions towards the end of the class, because I'm going to miss it. Okay, towards the end we'll have a discussion, we have time. So as a person put new garments, right? When it's old or when it's dirty, we change. Same way, this body is itself like a dress. Okay, so Krishna is saying, Arjuna, don't worry. You're fighting against your cousins, you are fighting against your teachers, Bhishmacharya, and you're worried about their body. That's like a dress. Just like a dress. And at the time of death, what happens? The soul leaves that body, goes to another body, right? Tada dehantara prapti. Who knows the sloka 2.13 except Barka? 2.13. Dehinosmin. Yes, Sunita Mataji. Learned?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Mataji. Dehinosmin yata dehe kaumaram yavnam jara tata dehantara prapti dhirastatra namuhyate. Hare.
Very good. Anu Mataji.
देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं यौवनं चरा तथा देहान्तरा प्राप्तिर्धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यते.
Mohyati. Yes, Preeta Mataji. Are you there?
दे देहिनोऽस्मिन् यथा देहे कौमारं
Can't hear you.
यौवनं जरा तथापि धीरस्तत्र न मुह्यति.
Tada dehantara prapti dhirastatra namohyati. Yeah. So Krishna says, Dehina, it's like from boyhood to youth to old age. And then this transmigration of soul, that's it. That's called death, right? So first of all, Krishna takes off that fear of death from Arjuna. That's the biggest fear, no? Fear of death is the biggest fear in the world. Like everyone is scared of why in Corona people are so scared. Yes, we have to be scared because we have to protect our body from the virus. We have to be isolated. We have to be safe at home and stay at home. Okay, that is true. But why people are not able to accept death? One of my friends, she lost her relative, and she was kind of very depressed because of this corona thing, very depressed. And anyone started convincing her, she was not able to. She knows Bhagavad Gita. She was reading Bhagavad Gita, but still, when it comes practically in life, we are not able to take it, right? So Krishna says this knowledge is not just theoretical. You need to apply in life. How do you get it? By keep on reading and reading and understanding. As you read Bhagavad Gita, as you initially, it won't be, you won't able to apply in life. That's the last stage. But then as you keep reading, something comes in your mind and the intelligence will tell your mind, don't worry. See, this is what is happening. That soul have not dead. There's no death for the soul. That soul has gone to another body. So don't worry. It might get a good body. What should we do? Should chant for that soul. We should chant or pray for that soul. Okay. So in the purport, I'm not reading the whole purport, just taken the important points. Transference of atomic individual soul to another body is made possible by the grace of the super soul. The super soul fulfills the desire of the atomic soul as one friend fulfills the desire of another. So how are we getting the next body? Krishna as the super soul in our heart, Paramatma in our heart, is deciding the next body based on your desire. So desire. Who was the one who became a deer in his next life? Because he had a desire. Who was, and at the time of death, he thought about the deer. Who was that Maharaj? Put in the chat. Yes, Bharat Maharaj. Very good. Bharat Maharaj was thinking only about the deer, and became a deer at the end, right? So Krishna fulfills the desire of the atomic soul. What's the desire? What's your desire towards? I mean, as we have desires, it will be inside our subconscious mind. So when we are leaving the body, the soul is leaving the body, that comes out. So that's why we have to give your attraction to Krishna. Antakalesha mameva smaran muktva kalaviram. Krishna says, at the time the soul leaves the body, when you think of me, you come back to me. So by chanting Hare Krishna, what are we doing? We are trying to fix our mind on Krishna. So automatically what happens when danger comes in life, when we know, when a sudden thing, anything bad comes in life, we remember Krishna. Okay, that's why. So Krishna is a sweet friend. He's fulfilling our desires. But when Krishna knows the soul have no more desires, then he takes us back. Forgetfulness of the relationship with the super soul by the atomic soul is the cause for one's changing his position from one tree to another, from one body to another. So we are forgetting our relationship with Krishna. What is our relationship with Krishna? What are we, or who is he, and what is our relationship with Krishna? Hmm? Anyone can raise your hand, I can unmute. Sunita Mataji, what is a, yes, Reddy Prabhu, what is our relationship with Krishna?
We are part and parcel of Paramatma.
Yeah, you know the sloka? Which says, Mami Vamsho Jivaloke. Okay. Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Mohini Mataji, what else we are? Yeah, we are part and parcel of Krishna. Excellent answer. What else we are?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
ममैवांशो जीवलोके जीवभूता सनातना मनः षष्ठानीन्द्रियाणि प्रकृतिस्थानि कर्षति.
Excellent, huh? Super. Yeah. Rani Mataji, what else we are? We are Krishna's part and parcel. That's true. What else we are? Eternally we are?
His servant.
Yes, very good. Jivera Sorobhoi Krishnera Nityadas. Oh, I got an answer from the chat also. Eternal servants. Yes, Bhuvana Mataji, very good. Jairam Prabhu, servants. Yes, we are servants of the Lord, right? Yes, Rahul. Yes, good. So we are part and parcel, and we are we are servants. Gopi Bhaktur Padagamala Dasa Dasana Das. We are serving him. By doing devotional service, we are serving Krishna, right? So Mame Vamsha Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanadana. This finger is the part of my hand. So the function of the finger is to serve the hand. The hand is a part of the body. So what is the function of the hand? To serve the body. Same way we are part and parcel of Krishna. So our main function is to serve Krishna, right? Devotional service. So we are forgetting our relationship. But if you, that's why we are getting Punarjanma again and again, okay? Because we are forgetting that relationship. And Arjuna is advised here by the Lord not to lament for the body change of his old grandfather Bhishma Dev and his teacher Drona. Why? He don't have to lament, because one who laid down his life on the sacrificial altar, it was Dharma Kshetra, or in a proper battlefield, is at once cleansed of all bodily reactions and promoted to higher status of life. So there was no cause for Arjuna's lamentation. Even if he's killing Bhishma and Drona, what's happening to them? They are old already, right? Bhishma and Drona was old. You can see the picture with white beards and all. They're old. So somehow, one day they have to leave the body. But if you're fighting with them and killing the body, the soul is not dying, but they are being killed in the Dharma Kshetra. So that's good in the battlefield, which is good in Dharma. So they'll be pious. And what is the other thing? What is he saying? If because they are killed in presence of Krishna. If you leave your body in the presence of Krishna, you get moksha. And what is another thing? They're all pious souls. Bhishma is a good devotee. He chanted Vishnu Sahasra Nam. Can someone chant 1,000 names of Vishnu when they are in the bed of arrow? We can't even chant one name. We are in pain. But then he is a pure devotee, right? So for devotees, nothing to be worried. Anyway, he'll get moksha. He'll go back to Krishna. He won't come back, or he might get a new body, a good spiritual body. So not to worry. Okay, so this is what is happening. Ye dehinasmin yada dehe kaumaram yovanam jara tada dehandara prapti dhirastran mohde. So Krishna gives the first counseling to Arjuna and all of us, that don't worry about the body, okay, the so-called body. We worry about the soul. That's very important, about the soul. Nainam chindanti shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka, nachainam kledayantyaapo, nashoshayadi maruta, nainam chindati shastrani. These are the properties of the soul. Now Krishna says the soul cannot be cut with any weapon. The soul cannot be burned by any fire. The soul cannot be moistened by water. These are all properties of the soul, and withered by wind. So these are the properties of the soul. Now Arjuna, you are having Gandiva, bow and arrow. You think you're going to fight, kill the cousins. But then the soul cannot be cut with any weapon. So what are you doing? You are just hurting their body, right? Arjuna, Krishna is pushing Arjuna, fight, fight. Ma manismana yudhyaja, fight. This is your dharma. You should do it. And along with that, he is giving a lot of counseling about the soul. Okay, so this is one of the property of the soul. Okay. So the soul can never be cut into pieces by any weapon, nor burned by fire, nor moistened by water, right? Not withered by wind. No, the soul cannot be. The soul cannot be. That's the property of the soul. Okay. Nainam chindati shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. So all kind of weapons, sword, flames, weapons, or rain weapons, or torrent, whatever it is, are unable to kill the spirit soul. You can't kill it. Sachidananda. Okay. Yes, Nandita Mataji, can you read?
Yes, Mataji. In the Varaha Purana, the living entities are described as separated parts and parcels of the Supreme. They are eternally so, according to the Bhagavad Gita also. So, even after being liberated from illusion, the living entity remains a separate entity identity, as is evident from the teachings of the Lord to Arjuna. Arjuna became liberated by the knowledge received from Krishna, but he never became one with Krishna. Hare Krishna.
This is the important, and this last line is very important. He never became one with Krishna. We are separate identity. Okay. So Mame Vamshuchi, we are part and parcel of Krishna, but we are not equal to Krishna, right? In what we are equal to Krishna and what we are not equal to Krishna? In what we are equal, what we are not equal. There's some word. Who knows? Yes, Monica. In what we are equal, what we are not equal. Unmute.
In quantity.
Mataji, we are equal in
Quality but not in quantity.
We are equal in quality, but not in quantity. Yes, I'm getting answers from the chat. Yes, so we can never become one with Krishna. So that part is wrong. Okay, so when people say that we can become equal to Krishna, no, we can't become equal to Krishna because we are just tiny. Okay, so tiny it is. Nitya Nityana Chetanas Chetanana. We are very small. Krishna is unlimited. We are small. We can never become equal. This part we should understand. Jatasya hi dhruvo mrityur dhruvam janma mridasya cha tasmat apariharyarte natam shojitam arhasi jatasya hi dhruvo mrityu. Whoever have taken birth will definitely die. Whoever have died will definitely take birth. So why are we lamenting for those who have died? They'll definitely take birth. Might be not in our family or in some part of the world or somewhere. They'll take birth. That's soul. So one who has taken birth, taken his birth is sure to die. And after death, one is sure to take birth again. Unless he get moksha. If you get moksha or if you go back to Krishna, no more rebirth. Tattva deham punarjanmana iti. Krishna says, Namameka Arjuna. You go back to Krishna. Therefore, in the unavoidable discharge of your duty, you should not lament. Arjuna, why are you lamenting? You're lamenting about Bhishma and Drona and your cousins? No, even they have taken birth, they have to die one day. And if they have died, they have to take rebirth again. So why? This is the cycle: birth, death, old age, and disease. Janma, mrityu, jara, vyadi. That's a cycle, right? Based on the karma they take and the desire, they are given different bodies by the super soul and Krishna. So if you say, can you decide the next life? Not completely, but some part is in our hand. You have the free will, right? Free will. If you live a good sattvic life, if you do devotional service to Krishna, Krishna will definitely give you a better life, or might be take you back home. But if you do bad things in tamoguna, rajoguna, and live like animals, definitely we'll get an animal body, and again how long it'll take to come back to human form, right? So we have a free will. That small independence is there, but you should not misuse it. The rest only material nature and Krishna knows, because only Krishna knows what we have done in our past, what desires we had in the past, and accordingly we got this body. But in this life we don't suffer everything, right? All the reactions. But Krishna can burn your karma. This is the very this line I read in Bhagavatam yesterday, and I was like, wow. So Krishna burns the karma of devotees, huh? Not everyone. Krishna burns the karma. He can burn the karma. Just imagine, so many karma we have done, because of that we have rebirth. That's why chanting the holy name of Krishna will take you back to Krishna, because it's burning your karma. There's no difference between Krishna and his holy name. So as you chant more and more, Prabhupada says, you chant Hare Krishna, Maya can't touch you, right? So it's very strong. So okay, so one has to take birth according to one's activities of life, and after finishing one term of activity, one has to die and take birth for the next. In this way, one is going through the cycle of birth and death after another and another and another without liberation. But we should end it, right? We should stop. How can we stop the cycle of birth and death? How can we stop the cycle of birth and death? Yes.
Through liberation.
Yeah. How do we get liberation, Arun? How does the soul?
By chanting.
Yes, very good. So in Kali Yuga, Kalurtat Hari Kirtanam. Yes. So by going back to God, by liberation, we can end the cycle of birth and death. But how do we get liberation? By chanting, right? So we need to chant the holy name of the Lord, do devotional service, not only chanting, hearing about the Lord, right? Remembering the Lord, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Yeah, that's what we should do. What was that sloka, Barka? Shravanam, Kirtanam?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atmanivedanam.
Yeah, so 9 things. These are the 9 things. Iti pumsarpita Vishnu bhaktishannavalakshana kriyade bhagavati ada tanmanye adidamuttamam. So Prahlad Maharaj says in the 7th canto, 5th chapter, 23rd to 24th verse of Bhagavatam, it says these 9 process, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smarana. We won't be able to do all the 9. That's okay. Do one, chanting or hearing about the Lord. Chanting is also, sometimes you feel like how much to chant. But hearing is, you have 2 years and just have to sit in the class. That's it. But still people don't come because Bhagavatam says, Manda Sumanda Madhyo Manda Bhagyo. In Kali Yuga, people's life will decrease and they become Manda Bhagya. They are unfortunate and they are not lucky enough to go back to Krishna. They are not taking that process. They are lucky. Actually, Kali Yuga is the luckiest yuga, because in Satyuga, what people do, meditation, it's so tough and it's sacrifices and temple worship. But in Kali Yuga, just by chanting, you can go back to Krishna, right? So many of the, even Brahma wanted to become a blade of grass in Vrindavan. So in Kali Yuga, it's very easy actually, but people are not taking the process. So that's why we need to preach. We need to preach Krishna consciousness, make others convinced that this is the way. The battle of Kurukshetra, being the will of the Supreme, was inevitable event. It can't be avoided. And to fight for the right cause is the duty of a Kshatriya. So that was Arjuna's duty to do it, right? Jyoti Priya Mataji, can you read? Arjuna did not.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Arjuna did not deserve to break the law, thereby becoming subjected to the reactions of sinful acts of which he was so afraid. By avoiding the discharge of his proper duty, he would not be able to stop the death of his relatives, and he would be degraded due to his selection of the wrong path of action.
Yeah. So what is it saying? That if he didn't do his duty, he'll get degraded, right? Because he's selecting the wrong path of action, right? So as a Kshatriya, that's his duty. So this is his duty to do the action. So Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam, right? Birth, death, old age and disease are the real problems in human life. We know this, right? We have learned this, right? So this is the main problems. Don't think money and all that. That's all temporary. Yeah, that's all temporary. It'll come and go as your destiny is or karma is. But these are the real problems and you need to end it by devotional service. देहे नित्यम अवाद्यो यम देहे सर्वस्य भारत तस्मात् सर्वाणि भूतानि नतम शोचितम अर्हसि. Soul, when who dwells in the body, can never be slain. Therefore, there is no need of lamentation. So Arjuna is being convinced again and again by Krishna, right? When we are able to, we are trying to advise someone, if they are not accepting it, what happens? We keep on saying them, do this, do this. This is what we stress one point. So same way, Krishna is stressing to Arjuna. This is the point about the soul. He's going on telling about the soul. Okay, so soul cannot be cut. Nainam chindati shastrani, nainam dahati pavaka. It cannot be burned. So why are you worrying, Arjuna? Death is just a transmigration of the soul, just transmigrating. Nothing else is happening. Okay, so don't worry. So he's going on saying and again and again. Okay, so these were the important slokas for today. And in Purport, Krishna says, Lord Krishna establishes that soul is immortal and body is temporary. Therefore, Arjuna as a Kshatriya should not abandon his duty out of fear that his grandfather and teacher Bhishma and Drona will die in the battle. So actually, Arjuna was not worried about the cousins exactly. He was worried about his grandfather and the teacher Dronacharya, right? He has to kill his own teacher who have taught him the method of using bow and arrow, all these things. So that was actually hurting Arjuna more than the cousins. It was his Bhishma, that is his grandfather, and his teacher Dronacharya. This was actually hurting Arjuna. Okay, so Krishna kept on stressing on the point. Don't worry about Bhishma and Drona. Okay, this is a duty. You are the Kshatriya and you should do your duty, right? So that's why. And why was this one Duryodhan? When Duryodhan was pretty very confident about Drona and Bhishma supporting him. Anyone knows the answer? Why was it's given in the Bhagavad Gita purport? Why was Duryodhan so confident? Okay, Duryodhan is the eldest among Kauravas. Why was he more sure that? Uh, yes, Mohini Mataji. Why was Duryodhan so sure that Drona and Bhishma is going to support him?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes.
Mataji, he was very much confident because in the Kuru Sabha, when Draupadi was insulted, not even anyone spoke a little word.
Yes.
Even Dronacharya and Bhishma Pitama.
Yes, very good. That's why. Yes, very good. Yes. So, Namanishta Prabhu says every day show this book to the students and participants. They need to buy this and read it. Please, please, I'm requesting all of you. If you are not taking the book as such, read the PDF or read the vedabase.io, because the purports are very important. If you just read the slokas and translation, you won't be able to understand. But you go to the purport, that means you go deep. Srila Prabhupada has invested lot of his energy and time for this purport. Why did he do it? So once Srila Prabhupada, initial days, okay, when he was a grihastha, his wife was not actually supporting Krishna consciousness. It happens, right? Many of me, if you in my class, the partners may not be because it's not time for that soul to come. That's why. So Prabhupada was translating Bhagavad Gita, and those days, there's no dictaphone, typewriter, nothing. He was writing manually. He was writing all the Sanskrit slokas, everything, and writing the each word to word meaning and with translation and purport. So Prabhupada had so much manuscripts written, and he kept it on his table at home, office. In the home. So what happened? His wife was so addicted for tea. Rajani, she was so addicted to tea. So those days it was kind of a barter system too, right? You give some papers, they get something in return. So she was not having money that day, and Prabhupada had went to work, so he was not at home. So she saw these papers. She was not knowing that it's Bhagavad Gita manuscript. She took that paper and sell it to the tea seller. Tea person, tea wala, and then she got some few kgs of tea powder. That's it. And Prabhupada came home and Prabhupada was like, where is my manuscripts? That's Bhagavad Gita you sold. She was not knowing. And she just thought it's some papers. And Prabhupada was so sad because he invested so much of energy and time in writing that manuscripts. He wanted to print the book because this was the instruction his guru Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur gave him when he met in Radhakund. He met his guru for just 4-5 times. That's it. So we should not be thinking that the guru is not with us. No, that's okay. Guru can be there with you with Vani and Vapu. Either he can be physically with you. If he's not physically with you, he can be with his instructions. So Vani, Prabhupada's or your guru's lectures, your guru's books, that's your association. You can associate more with the instruction. So in Radhakund, Prabhupada was given instruction. First instruction was go to America, go to the Western country, spread the message of Bhagavad Gita in English. Second message was, if you ever get money, print books. And that's how Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, BBT, that's one of the world famous book trust ever. The printing press we had. And Prabhupada had big presses and big boxes of cartoons of books distributed all over the world now in different languages. But then that was the beginning. So Prabhupada used to write that manuscripts by hand, and he lost the whole manuscripts. But later on, again, Prabhupada, he didn't leave, he didn't give up. He's like, oh, I lost all the manuscripts. Chalo, leave it. I'm not going to translate. No, he wrote again. He wrote again and again. And finally, he made the Bhagavad Gita. And it was a Macmillan company, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, Macmillan, I think the first Bhagavad Gita was printed by them. And Prabhupada was in US or something. And Prabhupada didn't have money to print books. He didn't have much money those days. It was initial part of ISKCON. And then he sent his disciple. Prabhupada's like, go to that company, tell them we have Bhagavad Gita to be printed and we don't have money. Okay, can you do it for charity purpose? At least some few copies, and later on we'll pay you back once we get the money. And the disciple is like, what is Prabhupada speaking? Can someone print your books for free? And the disciple was like, what to do? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. He was chanting and he went to the press. You won't believe what happened there. The owner of the company, he was sitting there and he was thinking, he was as if he's waiting for someone. And when the disciple went and met the manager, he just told, we have a Bhagavad Gita to be printed. That's it. He didn't say anything else about money or anything. He just told, we want a Bhagavad Gita to be printed. The owner just got up. He's like, I was waiting exactly for this. I wanted something to be printed, some kind of religious book or some kind of good philosophy to be printed about Vedas. I'm waiting for this. And where did you come from? And Prabhupada was like sitting in the temple and telling the disciple, go to this person, talk to him. How is this? All Krishna's arrangement. And they didn't take money. They just printed for free. And then later on, Prabhupada paid them back. But then the first copy of Macmillan, the Bhagavad Gita came into being. And Prabhupada was so happy. When he got the Bhagavad Gita, he cried because that was the dream of his guru. And Prabhupada was so happy. So when that was in English, and then it was spread all over the world. Everyone took it, and Macmillan Company was so happy that Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, they printed it, the first edition. And later on, Prabhupada started his own printing press. It's called the Bhakti Vedanta Book Trust. Prabhupada, it was his dream, and he had a lot of machines printing, and disciples are working on it. He got a dictaphone and he started translating. So this is his hard work. Why don't we make use of it? Right? Prabhupada says, I don't die. I live in my books. So Prabhupada is in his books, and he's a pure devotee and a pure soul. So you try to understand Bhagavad Gita. He made it so easy for anyone to understand Bhagavad Gita by reading the purports. So please read the purports. And something extra, some masala for the class, okay, out of Bhagavad Gita. When you always hear Bhagavad Gita, sometimes you feel bored. So something extra for your bhakti. I want you to improve in bhakti faster. Okay, so last time we discussed something. What was it? About the chanting of the holy name, glories of holy name. So I think every time we should have something about bhakti also. Otherwise, when I'm going to discuss all this with you. So Tulsi Maharani is one of the favorite devotee of Krishna. Okay, I'm sure like most of you, whoever is abroad, they may not have, but still they might have. So Tulsi Maharani, you can get seeds and take, right, when you in this corona situation, after this you can get seeds and make it grow. So Tulsi Maharani is very pure devotee, and if you pray to Tulsi Maharani, you can advance in Krishna consciousness like anything. So these are the 8 names of Tulsi Devi: Vrinde Vrindavani Vishwa Pavani Vishwa Pujita Nandini Pushpa Saraja Tulasi Krishna Jeevani. So Vrinda, that's why Vrindavan, Vrindavan means what? Vana is forest and Vrinda is Tulsi. So Vrindavan is actually a forest of Tulsi Maharani, or she is the guard there, or she is the one who sanctions you. Right? They should be sanctioned to go to Vrindavan. Not everyone can go to Vrindavan. Not you can just purchase a ticket. No, in train or flight. No, that's not to Vrindavan. You should get permission from Tulsi Maharani to go to Vrindavan. Otherwise, it's not easy. That's not a material place. Not a material place. You will understand that when you actually try to go there. There's so many people who are trying, but they can't. One of my friends, they booked the ticket and everything was settled. They booked the hotel, everything, but they could not go. They are still waiting. So Vrindavan is not just a place you can just visit, holiday and come back. No, it's something else is more than that. Okay, so you should pray to Tulsi Maharani so that she gives you permission to go to Vrindavan. And Vrinda means goddess of all plant. Vrindavani is one who first manifested in Vrindavan. Vishwapavani, one who purifies the 3 world. Vishwapujita, one who the whole universe worship. Nandini, she gives happiness to everyone. Krishna is one of the cow was called Nandini. Pushpasaraja, the topmost of all flowers, without whom Krishna does not like to look upon other flowers. So unless you put Tulsi in your offering, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam, Krishna won't accept. Tulsi, one who has no comparison. Hindi mein bolta hai na, tulna, matlab, means there's no equal. So no comparison with Tulsi. Krishna Jeevani, she's the life and soul of Krishna. So unless you take one Tulsi leaf and place it in the lotus feet of Krishna, your deity or your photos, how is Krishna going to get pleased? So Vrinda Devi or Tulsi, and don't pluck Tulsi during Ekadashi and Dwadashi, okay? So anyone while worshipping Tulsi Devi chant these 8 names will get the same result of one performed Ashwamedha Yajna on the full moon day of Kartik. Worships her with her mantra will break free from the bonds of this miserable world of birth and death and very quickly attain Golok Vrindavan. Not only the Vrindavan in this world, you can go to Vrindavan of the spiritual world also by worshipping Tulsi Maharani. She's very great. So what can we do? Pour little water to Tulsi, go around Tulsi, circumambulate, pray to Tulsi, offer obeisance to Tulsi, anything can be done. And then you offer it. Yeah, so this is the manjari, the flower that comes of tulsi, that's called a tulsi manjari. So that also you can pluck and offer. You can see here, wherever you go, you see. And Krishna loves it when you smear chandan over tulsi and stick it. He just loves it. He can't repay you. That much he loves it. Okay, so offering tulsi to Lord Krishna is always done because she is Kachit Tulasi Kalyani Govinda Charana Priye. She is always into the lotus feet of Krishna. She can't be offered to anybody else. Don't offer. Tulsi Maharani is not offered to Radharani also. No, Tulsi Maharani is offered only to Krishna. Okay, not to anyone, not to any other demigods also. It's only to Krishna. And after offering, you can take it and you can smell, or you can even eat it, or you can add to your prasad. Okay, so this is Tulsi Pranam mantra. When you offer respect to Tulsi, it will be tough in the beginning, but you can write it and learn if you really like it. Vrindaya Tulsi Devaye Priyaye Keshavashya Krishna Bhakti Prade Deve Satyavrite Namo Nama. Vrindaya Tulsi Devaye Priyaye Keshavashya. Keshava is who? Krishna, the killer of Keshi, demon. So she is more close to Krishna. Why? And she gives Krishna Bhakti Prade Devi. She can give you Krishna Bhakti. So trust me, as you do Tulsi Puja more and more, you can advance into Bhakti very fast because she gives you Krishna Bhakti. Satyavrade Namana. I offer my respectful obeisance into Vrinda, Srimati Tulsi Devi, who is very dear to Lord Keshava Krishna. O Goddess, you bestow devotional service to Krishna and possess the highest truth. This is Parikrama mantra. So many people, they go around Tulsi Maharani. I know it's a custom and many do it, right? You can put a lamp, show a lamp, or you can go around Tulsi Maharani. And when you go that, what is the benefit of going around? Yani kani cha papani brahma hatyati kani cha tani tani pranashandi pradakshina pade pade. By circumambulation of Tulsi Devi, all the sins that one may have accumulated are destroyed at every step. Even the sin of killing a Brahmana. Just imagine, that's the highest sin, okay? Killing a Brahmana, that's the highest sin. And even killing the Brahmana, that sin is destroyed just by going around Tulsi Maharani. So what benefit? I mean, it's like we don't know this, right? I was not knowing this, and when I heard this, I was like, wow, just by going around Tulsi Maharani, even killing, forget about other sins we have done in our previous life, killing a Brahmana is also lost. Each step you take, that much. That's why Srila Prabhupada made it compulsory, Tulsi Puja, as a routine of ISKCON. You go to any ISKCON temple all over the world, in the morning program schedule, we have Tulsi Puja. Even sometimes some temple, they do in the evening also. So yes, Tulsi Puja is very important. So this is the mantra. Or if you're not able to chant this mantra, chant Hare Krishna and go around Tulsi Maharani. That is also okay. So Vrinda Devi is a pure devotee of Lord Krishna and is responsible for setting up the wonderful pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan. She exists as Tulsi to benefit the fallen conditioned soul by bestowing devotional service to Krishna. So she is the one who sets the pastimes of Radha and Krishna in Vrindavan, eternally also, here also. So that's what Vrinda Devi is. So you need to get the sanction of the doorkeeper, right, to go inside. Like Jaya and Vijay is in Vaikunta, you need to please Vrinda Devi, then only you can go to this one, Vrindavan. So I'll tell you an easy way to please Vrinda Devi is Vrindashtagam. Okay, Ashtagam means 8 verses. Okay, Vrinda is Tulsi Devi. So Vrinda Ashtagam. If this Ashtagam that is addressed to Vrinda Devi is heard or read, what happens? He would reach and stay forever in Vrindavan and get loving service there and would be blessed. So that's why I highlighted heard, because you're going to hear me singing Vrindashtakam now. So if you hear also, you are going to get benefit. So that's very powerful, very powerful. One of my friend used to chant Vrindashtakam every day. Trust me, within few months, she was able to go and visit Vrindavan and stay there for a few months there. And she was so blessed, and she told me, I asked her, what is the secret, huh? You're able to stay in Vrindavan for so long, for so many months. How did you get that? I mean, how was it possible? She told she started Vrindashtakam every day. So if you it's very nice to hear. And this is Vrinda Devi. Okay, she's always having a parrot in her hand. She's very beautiful. There's a temple called Vrinda Kund in Vrindavan, and lots of parrots comes there. A very beautiful place. I loved that place. When you go there, you can visit. Vrinda Kund means there was a pond. There's a pond, and Vrinda Devi has been there. I'll show the picture where the deity installed there. Okay, so this is the this thing, the Vrinda Ashtakam. Okay, so you can see, yeah. Gange chambe yadade tvilinde rochi pravaha sapitatma vrinde bando ka bando dvidivya vaso vrinde namaste charanarvindam bimbadaroti tvaravindahasya nasagramukti dviditi pitase विजेत्ररत्नाम्बरणाश्रियादि वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं समस्तवैकुण्ठशिरोमणश्री कृष्णस्य वृन्दावनधन्यधाम्नि दत्ताधिकारे वृषभानुपुत्रो वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं वदाज्ञया पल्लवपुष्पवृङ्ग मृगादिभिर्माधवकीलिकुञ्ज मत्वादिभिर्पान्दिविभूष्यमाना वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं स्वदीयदूत्वेन निकुञ्जयोनो अद्वत्कयोकेलिविलाससिद्धि तत्सौपगं केन निर्जेत्यतां तत् वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं रसाभिलाषो वसतिं च वृन्दावने ददीशां द्विसरोजसेवा लभ्यां च पुंसां कृपया तवैव वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं त्वं कीर्त्यसि सात्वततन्द्रविद्भिर्लीलाभिधान किल कृष्णशक्ति तवैव मूर्ति तुलसीर्लोके वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं भक्त्या विहीना अपराधलक्ष्ये क्षिप्ताश्च कामादितरङ्गमध्ये कृपामयि त्वं शरणं प्रपन्नं वृन्दे नमस्ते चरणारविन्दं वृन्दाष्टकं या शृणुयेत् पठेत्वा वृन्दावनाधीशपजाच्च भृङ्गा सप्राप्य वृन्दावननित्यवासं तत्प्रेम सेवं लभते कुताता. Vrindashtakam ki jai, Tulsi Maharani ki jai. So here it says, Vrindashtakam yet shruniyet padetva. Whoever reads or hear Vrindashtakam, what are we going to get? Saprapya Vrindavana Nityavasam. You go to Vrindavan and you can stay forever. Tat prema sevam labade krudada. And you get loving service to Radha and Krishna. You can't get Radha Krishna just like that. No. You need the support of pure devotees like Guru and Tulsi Maharani in your life. So it's very, very dear. Tulsi is very dear to Krishna. You can't imagine the benefit, the mercy you're getting just by offering Tulsi to Krishna. And without Tulsi, Krishna is not going to accept anything. Remember Rukmini? She kept just one Tulsi on the swing and got Krishna back. So Tulsi is very, very famous, and Tulsi has to become a part of your life. In the sense, always take care of Tulsi, and whoever serves Tulsi, like plant the Tulsi once, or so this is Tulsi Maharani. Okay, if you plant Tulsi once, take care of the Tulsi water once, you going to get benefit. Okay, so this is in Vrindakund in Vrindavan. If you could visit Vrindakund in Vrindavan, there's a kund, and the kund means it's a pond, and then next to that there's a temple. This is Vrinda Devi. This is the only temple in Vrindavan which is of Tulsi Maharani. All the temples have Tulsi, but then this is the deity. You can see here, actually there was a bird here. You can't see it properly, but she holds a parrot in her hand, and this is Tulsi Maharani. She's so beautiful there, and it's a beautiful kund there, and you can sit there and chant, and very nice, very nice. So Tulsi Maharani is there, and you can do arati, you can sing this Vrindashtakam. The Vrindashtakam is written there. Anyone goes there can chant it, and very nice. I'm the end of the class, by this end of the advanced class, end of Corona thing, I'm inducing Vrindavan to you all, so that you all should have that desire. Oh, the Vrindavan is so beautiful. Let me go see the Govardhan Hill, the Yamuna, and everywhere where Krishna's pastime. Remember the Leela which I told, Damodar Leela, where Krishna was tied in the motor, right? Because he stole butter and broke the pot. That place is still in Vrindavan. It's in Gokul. You go there. I was shocked to see the motor, and I was like, it was amazing to be there. Amazing. I can't express the feeling, but all of you should. You should have the desire. You should know. You can't just go to Vrindavan just like a pilgrimage. I mean, just like a picnic mode. No, Vrindavan is not to be seen materially. Materially, you might see slums and sludges and all this dirt and all around. But that is material. Spiritually, Vrindavan is so pure, so pure. You go to Yamuna, the where Krishna did his pastime. There's a pastime where Krishna danced on the Kaliya. Everything is there. People preserve the place, and they take mud from there, put it on the head. They take Raja, where Krishna walked with his barefoot. So when you go to Vrindavan, when we do parikrama, we don't use slippers, because we can't put slippers and walk on the symbols of Krishna's foot, right? Krishna's, did you see the Krishna's lotus feet? It has different symbols of lotus and umbrella and chakra, shanga and all. So that marks us still there. We won't be able to see with our material eyes, but there are pure devotees there who can see it. So Vrindavan is beyond our thought process. We can't think of Vrindavan just like that as a material place, some place near Mathura, UP. No, it's not a material place. It's from Goloka. So all of you should have the desire, and definitely if you get chance, please do visit Vrindavan. Please, because at least 1 day, 2 days if you stay, that's good. And you can visit during Kartik month. It's a special month. Kartik, I think it comes in October, November, but not during Corona lockdown. Don't do it. But after that, okay, you can have the desire, and you can meet different places, which I told. All these pastimes, those places are still preserved in Vrindavan. So Vrinda Devi ki jai. Always pray to Vrinda Devi, and she's very merciful, very merciful. If you want to grow in bhakti, do please Vrinda Devi. She's amazing devotee, and she's a pure soul. She gets pleased very easily. You remember the Gopal Bhatta Goswami pastime I told, the Shila, the Shalagram Shila. So they worship Shalagram Shila with Tulsi Maharani. You keep Tulsi on the top and you worship. So that's how Advaita Acharya worshipped Shalagram Shila. So that Mahaprabhu, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Kali Yuga. So Shalagram Shila is very powerful. And there's something called Tulsi Shalagram Viva, if you know, some of you. Tulsi Maharani get married to the Shalagram Shila. Yeah, that marriage ceremony is also happening in Vrindavan. It happened last time, and it was very nice. That function was very nice. So this is Tulsi Maharani. Okay, so pray to Tulsi Maharani. Vrindaya Tulsi Devaya Priyaya Keshavasya Krishna Bhakti Pradadevi Satyavrade Namanama. I pray to Tulsi Maharani that all of you get Krishna Bhakti as soon as possible, and more and more. You all have Krishna Bhakti for sure, but then more and more let us get by praying to her lotus feet. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Mataji, you can stop recording.